friends, this is Yamini and I welcome you back to my channel, the Saffron Box. Today in this video, I'm going to be talking about the month of July 2022 and what a special month it is as we see majority of the planets in their own signs, in their own houses. So I'm going to be talking about that and of course the impact it has on all the 12 signs, the 12 ascendants, your rising signs. So I'll go sign wise, I'll talk about the impact first and then I'll go sign wise from Aries till Pisces. As usual, you'll find the timestamps in the description section as well as in the comment box. And in case you are a first time viewer, you are visiting my channel for the first time, do not forget to hit the subscribe button before you leave. If you are a subscriber already, a big thank you, a big heartfelt thank you for you. And if you like the content, do not forget to hit the like button before you leave as well. So this month we see a lot of planets in their own signs. Okay, so now I'll begin with Sun. Sun is in the sign of Gemini currently, and it's a friendly sign though. Sun and Mercury together in the sign of Gemini will be there from the 2nd of July till the 17th of July. So Sun and Mercury conjunction we'll see there. It's a friendly sign for Sun. It's going to be conjunct with the friendly planet. So that is something again which is nice. Then we have Mercury moving into its own sign of Gemini. So as I told you earlier, Mercury will be in its own sign. We'll have Mars in the sign of Aries, though conjunct with Rahu, again its own sign. Then we have Venus in the sign of Taurus, we have Jupiter in the sign of Pisces, and we have Saturn currently retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, but by the 13th of July Saturn will move back to the sign of Capricorn, retrograde motion. Rahu is in Aries and Ketu is in Libra. So this is generally the scene which we see for this month. For the first half of the month, we'll see majority of these planets in their own signs except for Sun, Rahu and Ketu. So Rahu and Ketu anyways don't have any lordship as such, and Sun, as I mentioned, is in a friendly sign with a friendly planet as well. So this gives the planets a wonderful chance to give whatever they are supposed to give you, right? So this gives a very happy state. It's actually a rare phenomena which happens because the slow moving planets do not come to their houses so frequently, right? It's not like the quick moving planets like the Sun or Mercury or Venus, etc. So for the slow moving planets like Jupiter, like Saturn, it takes a whole round for them, to come to a particular sign, come back to a particular sign. So when this happens, these planets are able to they are in their own signs, they are in a happy zone, so to say, so they are able to deliver what they want to deliver. And of course a lot of it depends on what the promise of your birth chart is, what kind of dashas, what kind of major periods, sub periods are you running. So that is of course the foundation on which the whole prediction is based, right? So the transits will give you what is already promised to you. So transits will just look at the time factor and give you whatever they are to deliver, right? So I'll begin with the sign of Aries and I'll go up till Pisces. So for Aries, you see Aries people, your ascendant lord Mars is in the sign of Aries itself, in your first house, and it is conjunct with Rahu. So there's a Mars Rahu conjunction in the first house itself, right, in the Lagna. Then we have Venus, we have Venus in the own sign, the second house. We have Sun Mercury conjunction in the third house. Saturn is retrograding back from the 11th house to the 10th house, but in its own sign, back to Capricorn. And we have Jupiter in the sign of Pisces, 12th house, but its own sign. So what does this translate it to? Basically, this tells you that this is a good opportunity. Mars coming to the ascendant is going to recharge your confidence, recharge your self-esteem, or so to say, give you that confidence to do things. But at the same point in time, the conjunction of Mars and Rahu together, that too in the ascendant, is a little dicey, it's a little tricky. So while you need that confidence to deliver a project, to deliver something, sometimes this can border on to being a little assertive, and sometimes it can go beyond assertiveness into aggression, right? So this is something which you have to really guard against. So do things, do what you want to do, but do it within a particular limit. Do not project overconfidence, right? So keep your confidence, keep your aggression also under check. That is something which is very, very important. Apart from that, the finance scene seems to be good. We have the second lord in the second house, well placed in the sign of Taurus, that too. So good indication for income, good indication for your financial state. We also have Sun and Mercury conjunction in the third house. So this shows that a lot of people who are in the fields of mass communication, traveling, media, journalism, etc., or creative fields get to benefit. So you could come up with new ideas, you could come up with a lot more creativity, being able to showcase what you have, being able to communicate to the world about what you have, right? So a good month for you. A lot of you will actually take up short journeys as well, with the Sun Mercury conjunction over here, and the 3-9 axis is getting activated. So a lot of short journeys you see, and this is going to be an active month. So utilize the ideas, utilize the new ideas which you come across, and try to implement them as well. So good time to think through and gradually go into implementation phase as well. There'll also be a lot of communication, lot of interaction with your friends, with your neighbors, with your siblings. So this month for the Aries ascendant is going to be full of a lot of interaction, a lot of mingling around, a lot of interaction, and time spent with friends, with siblings, etc. So utilize this time. And also this is going to be a month where especially with Saturn coming back to your 10th house, anything which you had been planning to do for a very long time, I think this is the time where you'll get to finish that project or finish that task, right? So something which you had been postponing, something which was in your pending list for a very long time, this month you get to finish it up, right? So this is something which you should keep in mind. So make a list of whatever is pending from your side, whatever you have to finish, you had been targeting to finish, and this one should actually enable you to start finishing your pending tasks. So Saturn's presence over here in the 11th and then subsequently in the 10th house is going to really help you over there, right? So and a lot of people who are planning to travel abroad for education, etc., also get a positive signal this month, with the 9th lord Jupiter being in the 12th house, and the ascendant lord Mars being in the ascendant and all that. So anyways, there's a good boost for the Aries ascendant. So a good month, but just keep your aggression, keep your overconfidence under check. Do not let people get offended with your with imposing your personality on them. Now I move on to the next sign, that is Taurus. So for Taurus, you see the ascendant lord Venus is in the sign of Taurus itself, right? So and then on the 13th of July, it moves on to the next house, that is Gemini. So ascendant lord is well placed in friendly signs this entire month. And we also have the Sun Mercury conjunction in the second house of wealth, of family, of finances. Then we have Saturn, which is your Yoga Karak Graha, Yoga Karak planet, going back from the 10th house to the ninth house. So going back from the house of karma to the house of dharma. And we have Jupiter, the lord of gains for you, in the house itself, in the 11th house itself. Word of caution, Mars and Rahu conjunction in the 12th house. So I'm going to be talking about that though. So this gives a favorable condition in terms of financial matters, in terms of family matters, good time to interact with your social circle, good time to spend time and effort with your family, with your friends, etc. Right, so this is overall a favorable month. A lot of your things which were stuck now with the movement of Saturn back into the ninth house can actually get triggered. Luck can favor you now. You can go about doing your work, get help from your fortune, from your luck factor, and then carry on your work. There's a lot of support from the social circle as well. As I mentioned, your family is with you. A lot of you will also pay a lot of attention to yourself. So you might go ahead for a makeover, a new hairdo, some new clothes, your physical appearance. How do you appear physically? How do you carry yourself physically? You could work on that. Some of you might also like to improve, enroll for some self-improvement classes or some things like these which help you in upskilling well, right? So that is something which can really happen this month. Good indication. A lot of your important planets are in their own houses, so this gives an overall favorable month for a lot of things. But with the Mars and Rahu conjunction in the 12th house, I would say one thing which you really have to keep in check is how you're expending your energy, or rather how you're doing any kind of expenditure. It could be the expenditure of your energy, of your time. How are you reacting, right? So depends on what situation you are in. So see that your reactions are controlled. You are not impulsively buying something, you are not impulsively reacting to a situation and then regretting later. So with Mars and Rahu over here, this happens. Sometimes you may just do something very, very impulsively and not being able to undo it later. So it could be a reaction in any social situation, in any relationship issue. That is something which you really have to see. Otherwise, this is a good month for those appearing for any kind of a competition, any kind of exam. Sixth lord, Venus, it is in its own sign in the ascendant. So this gives a good boost for you to thrash out competition as well. Favorable month, but as I said, keep your expenditure under check. Then I move on to the next sign of Gemini. So for Gemini, you see, we have Sun and Mercury together from the 2nd of July till the middle of the month, 14th, 15th, 16th of July. We have the Sun Mercury conjunction together in the first house. Then we have a lot of planets on the brighter half. That is, we have your Venus in the 12th house. We have Mars and Rahu conjunction in the 11th house, Jupiter in its own house, 10th house, and Saturn moves back from the 9th house to the 8th. So here, what does it say? While you get to focus a lot on yourself, improve your communication. This is a good chance. Mercury is back in the sign of Gemini in your ascendant. So this gives you a very, very good chance to improve on your communication skills, on how you are using your intelligence. Sun and Mercury together are forming a Budh Aditya Yoga also, and that too in the ascendant, a Kendra house. So encash this opportunity, work on yourself, use your intelligence, use your creativity in a positive manner in handling your work issues. Jupiter here in the 10th house is also going to make you focus a lot on your work. So work can see expansion, new opportunities can come, new work can come. You get to interact with superiors at work, bosses at work, people who are more skilled than you, who are more proficient than you. So use your intelligence, use your wit to use the maximum of these opportunities. That is something which is very important. Also, with Saturn moving back into the 8th house, a lot of your focus can go back to inheritance related issues, or to matters which were stuck. It could be ancestral property, it could be inheritance, it could be insurance matters, it could be money which was stuck. There could be matters related to your in-laws or your spouse's money, which was stuck for a very, very long time, and now you've got to resolve them and only then move ahead. So these matters can come up. A lot of you who are pursuing any kind of a higher studies or research or occult studies, etc., this is a great month because Saturn here will be enabling you to carry on your work further. So use this opportunity. Otherwise, this is a great month. It's just that with the Mars Rahu conjunction in the 11th house, you also need to be a little careful while interacting with your social circle or your elder siblings, etc. So make sure that you are, not speaking beyond, beyond your limits, or not going beyond your limits in your social circle. You're not reacting overboard. Your relationship with your elder sibling also, you need to make sure that you're staying within boundaries, because Mars and Rahu here can actually make you, make one person break those boundaries, go beyond limits, react very unpredictably. So that is something which you really have to guard against. Otherwise, this is also a good conjunction with, all is not bad with Mars and Rahu. Depends on the kind of chart you have, the kind of dashas you are running. So here, this is also a good opportunity, suddenly from your social circle, from your network circle, you can come across some opportunities as well, some gains as well. So use your wit, use your intelligence to scan your circle well, to scan the opportunities well. And I think this month will see you through. Then I move on to the next sign of Cancer. So for Cancer, you see, we have Sun and Mercury coming to your first house, coming to the ascendant in the second half of the month. Then we have Saturn coming back from the 8th house till the 7th house. One good thing which is really happening here with the Cancer sign, with the Cancer ascendant, is Jupiter is now free of any, free of the Papkatri Yoga as such, and it's going to be sitting solo in the 9th house in its own sign. So a very, very good sign, I would say. So 9th Lord in the 9th house enables you to achieve a lot. Then we also have Mars and Rahu conjunction in the 10th house. We have Venus in its own house in the 11th. So here, first of all, I would talk about the positives here. Jupiter here in the 9th house, in the house of luck, in the house of Bhagya. It's the Bhagyasthan, it's a Trikona house, a very, very important supportive house for the Cancer ascendant. Jupiter here, Jupiter's presence over here can actually help you deal with a lot, give you a lot of support, give you the support of your father figure, of your father, of your guru, or give you good advice. Jupiter is the advisor, remember. So it can, give you very good advice in terms of finances, in terms of life decisions, educational matters, etc. So wherever you want, you are stuck and you want something, you want some push, you want some, help from above, Jupiter here is really going to help you out. So use this time to do a lot of things, to take initiative and carry on with whatever you are doing. Anything which was stuck, now is the time. Jupiter is going to help you out over here. So make sure that you are on the right path of dharma. You maintain righteousness, only then Jupiter helps you. So the moment you break the code, do not follow the right path, that is when Jupiter is a sattvic planet. Jupiter would help you only when you're following the right dharma, the right path. That is what it guides you towards in the first place. So make sure that you're doing the right things and then getting the right guidance from Jupiter. Apart from that, this is good for foreign travels, for those who are planning on going abroad, studying abroad, etc. This is a great time. This is also a good time for you to gather up your resources, gather up your team, to execute new projects, to start off with new stuff. Saturn is coming back to the 7th house. So any business idea which wasn't executed, any alliance, any partnership which was bagged, somewhere in the past, now you can actually bring up those issues and work on them. Also a very very good time for those who are looking for matchmaking, alliances, etc. So if your search for the perfect bride or the perfect groom was pending, was you had shelved it out, got tired, and you were not looking at it, now I think now is the time when something can happen, some breakthrough can come. So this is a time when you should focus on these kind of things, matchmaking, partnership, alliances, starting any business idea which you had shelved up, right? So work on these issues. This is a good time. Sudden developments can happen at work. So at work you see that something very suddenly out of the blue happens. It can be good, it can be bad, I can't really say that, because this is just the transit which we're talking about. But sudden developments can happen which can take up a lot of your time, a lot of your energy. So make sure that you're remaining organized, you are organized and you are up to date with your work, so that you can handle anything which comes up all of a sudden, right? Avoid any harsh words, or avoid any clashes or conflicts, arguments, etc. with people at work, so especially your bosses, etc. Stay away from any conflict. It's sometimes better to remain quiet than get into any unnecessary conflict and waste your energy, right? So overall a good month. Make sure that whatever had been pending for a long time, you are focusing on that and carrying on. Then I move on to the next sign of Leo. So for Leo, you see the ascendant lord sun is in the 11th house in the first half of the month, and then it moves on to the 12th house. So we see a sun Mercury conjunction in the 11th, a good place for it to be, and then it moves on to the 12th house. Then we have Venus in the 10th house in its own sign, a very good indication. Then Saturn moves back from the 7th house back to the 6th house. Jupiter, your 8th lord, is also in the 8th house. Then we have Mars and Rahu conjunction in the 9th. So overall you see the brighter half of your horoscope is totally in focus, is brightened up with lot of planets, their presence here. So here you see a lot of work can be done at work, your workplace, your business, business place, your karya sthal, your karam sthan can actually get a lot of help from some female presence. So it can be your female boss, it can be a female colleague, or some help arrives, or some extra boost you get because of some female presence here. So in case you are in a partnership business, if your partner is a female, then also you get a boost here. So overall I think this is a good month. There could be a sudden twist of fate, etc. Like you were planning to do something and then suddenly something happens and your plans are changing. So Mars and Rahu over here in the 9th house can trigger that tricky situation for you to be. So you were planning a long-term travel, or you were planning to take up a course or something like this, and suddenly something happens out of the blues. So these kind of things can happen. So it's important for you to plan well. Whenever we see this energy, Mars and Rahu conjunction, it is better that you plan everything properly, so that you're able to meet with any kind of emergencies, or any kind of sudden developments with ease. So plan up things well. If you're planning to go abroad, if you're planning on taking up some higher education, some course, etc. So plan things ahead, be ready with your finances, etc. Also take good care of your relationship with your father, with your guru, with your elders. Make sure that you are dealing with them in a very soft manner, not getting aggressive with them, not getting into conflict with them. And in some cases, again, depends on your birth chart, I would advise that if you're making any long term plan, if you are making any long term decision, it's better to pend it for a while, right? So Pend it for a month or so and then come back to that decision. Otherwise, routine matters are going to take up a lot of your time and effort, so you remain busy here. Saturn here from the 7th goes back to the 6th house, makes you focus again on your growth, on your routine. So, and also those people who are in the legal profession, who are in the medical profession, those who are dealing with any kind of issues or obstacles on a daily basis also get a boost. So this is going to be a busy month for you. You have your plate full of with a lot of work coming up, especially with Saturn's presence over here. Those of you who are in the fields of research and development, occult, insurance, banking, etc., they also see a very busy month with Jupiter's presence in the 8th house. So I'm going to be talking about the sign of Virgo. If you have a Virgo ascendant or a Virgo rising, we have the ascendant lord in the 10th house. So Mercury is going to be in the 10th house for the first half of the month along with Sun, and then Sun and Mercury both move together to the 11th house. So apart from this, we have Jupiter aspecting the Lagna without any malefic presence around it, without any Papkatri Yog disturbing it. So Saturn is anyways going to move out from the 6th house, is going to go back into the 5th house. So here Jupiter, which was hemmed between Saturn and Mars and Rahu on one side, is now going to be free of that Papkatri position as such. So Jupiter aspects the Lagna. Saturn moves back to the 5th house, retrograde in motion. We have Venus, the 9th lord, in its own sign. So while all this is good, a tricky thing is Mars and Rahu conjunction in the 8th house. So Mars, remember, is not a very positive planet for the Virgo ascendant. It's a functional malefic. And here Mars conjoined with Rahu. Rahu is also going to be emitting the same energy as Mars, because it's sitting with the dispositor of Aries, with the Lord of Aries, with its dispositor itself. So Mars and Rahu conjunction is a very tricky or a very dicey conjunction for the Virgo ascendant. So what does it do? It tells you to stay away from risky situations. So if you are feeling very adventurous, going out trying to do something very, very adventurous which can risk your life, which can risk anything around you, avoid that while this conjunction is taking place. Do not drive rashly. Take care of your health. Take care of any while you're working with electricity or around the fire, etc. So while you're working in the kitchen also, or while you're working around the electricity, gadgets, etc., make sure that you're following proper safety measures and not putting yourself at risk. So that is what, I'm not trying to scare you on anything, but this is a warning sign, this is a red alert which one must take care of. It's not necessary that it's going to happen, it's not always going to happen like that, but a lot of unfortunate things or unwelcome things can always be avoided if we take the necessary precautions, right? So apart from this, Jupiter in the 7th house also makes you partner up or collaborate with people in business, make new alliances, get into new work, etc. As I mentioned earlier, Sun and Mercury are also together in the 10th house. So your Kendra is charged up. It's good for work, it's good for partnership, good for new businesses, those who have partnership businesses, etc. Good for them as well. Also, if you were looking for a matchmaking or alliance, etc., I think this can also be a chance where something positive happens. Those of you who are looking at marrying by their own choice, or in India we have the concept of arranged marriage as well as a love marriage, etc. So you choose the partner in love marriage, and in arranged marriages usually the families arrange the match. So if you're looking at a love marriage fructifying, if you're looking at the partner of your choice whom you already know and now you want to step up into marriage, I think this is a time where something really positive can develop further. So good chance for that as well. Apart from this, one thing more which you have to be careful about is your relationship with your in-laws if you're married. So any money related issues with your in-laws, any money related issues with your spouse also has to be dealt with very carefully. Also, in case you are dealing with any hidden matter, any hidden secrets, if your work requires you to be dealing with very hidden matters, I think this is a time when you should move ahead with a lot of caution as well, right? Then I move on to the next sign of Libra. So for Libra, you see the ascendant lord Venus is in its own sign in the 8th house, in the sign of Taurus. Then we have Saturn, your Yoga Karak Graha, moving from the 5th house to the 4th house, retrograde in motion. Jupiter in the 6th house in its own sign. Mars and Rahu conjunction in the 7th house, aspecting the Lagna. So, how does all this impact you? Number one, your attention can be drawn to a lot of pending things, old issues. Old issues get raked up. Inheritance issues, insurance issues, money which was stuck, those kind of issues. So, with the presence of Venus here in the 8th house. So, a lot of monetary issues, Venus is also going to be aspecting the 2nd house. So, a lot of monetary issues come up. So you deal with a lot of exchange of money, etc. as well. Jupiter in the own sign of Pisces in the 6th house also makes you compete, right? So a lot of competitive spirit it brings in here, and especially with the Mars and Rahu presence in the 7th house, this can give you tough competitors. So if you are applying for an interview, if you are applying for some kind of selection process you are undergoing, you'll be meeting very tough, strong competitors with you. So be prepared. Pull up your socks and be prepared. Do your homework well, right? And also with Saturn retrograding back into the 4th house, again as I mentioned, with Venus and Saturn positions here, your focus will be old matters, property matters, money, land deals, money related to houses. So all these things are going to be here on your under your radar. So a lot to deal with for the Libra ascendant. Also with the Mars and Rahu conjunction over here in the 7th house, you need to be careful about dealing with people. So do not get rash. Do not it's better to keep quiet sometimes than give out reactions, right? So this month anyways you're going to be dealing with a lot of competition, so as I mentioned earlier. So make sure that your reactions are measured. Make sure that you're dealing with your business partners or your life partner in a soft way. So Mars and Rahu can give you a lot of impulsive reactions to things and spoil your relationship over here. But at the same point in time, some sudden twists can also come. So you can come across new people as well. You can come across some unconventional sort of people as well who do unconventional work also. So this has two sides. Every conjunction always has some positives as well as some negatives here. So overall, this is a very busy month for the Libra ascendant. All the best and take care. Apart from this, now I move on to the next sign of Scorpio. So for Scorpio, you see the ascendant lord itself is in the 6th house, conjunct with Rahu. So Mars and Rahu conjunction in the 6th house for the Scorpio ascendant. So those of you who understand all this can actually understand what I'm talking about. Scorpio ascendant is anyways a strong ascendant to have, and on top of that, if we have the ascendant lord coming back to the fiery sign in the 6th house along with Rahu, makes you fiercely competitive, makes you want to go ahead and win the world, right? But that is not how it happens every time. That is not how you can go about every time on every occasion. So here, while you are feeling all competitive and charged up and ready to deal with whatever comes, it's important that you keep your cool, deal with situations looking at the long term goal. Do not think short term. Look at the long term objective. Look at what kind of repercussions you'll see in the long term, and then only carry on with things. Stay away from any issues which can trigger in any bouts of bad health. So if you're already if you are of a poor constitution or poor gut health, or overall your health is not so good, take care of yourself. That is very important. And now we have also the fifth lord Jupiter in the fifth house. A lot of you will focus on your children, or those who are in the art fields, creativity. They will focus on their work. You will get good opportunities, a good time for teachers, good time for people who are in the education sector, etc. Then we also have Saturn moving back from the fourth house to the third house. So actually, if you see the Upachaya Bhavas, third house, sixth house, these are activated with malefics. Saturn in the third house, Mars and Rahu in the sixth. So this gives you unstoppable energy, but you have to see where you're going to channelize this energy. And that's the key to handling the energy which the planets give. Also, a lot of you will focus on work issues. So if you're looking at changing your line of work, or looking at changing organizations, a lot of you will look at that as well, look at new opportunities. But as I said, this month you have to be very thoughtful and not rash or impulsive in your decisions. New responsibilities can come up also, and you'll have to take them up. So you have the required courage, you have the required zeal to carry on with whatever is coming to you, right? Those of you who are looking at higher education, looking at going outside or pursuing something in the field of in the higher education realm, etc., I think this is the perfect time for you to beat out the competition as well. So provided you've done your background work well, this is a great time. It's supporting you as well. Then I move on to the next sign of Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius, you see the ascendant lord Jupiter is in the fourth house in its own sign. Then we have Saturn. Saturn is moving from the third house back to the second house, in the house of your family, your finances, your wealth, accumulated wealth. Then we have Mars and Rahu conjunction, the tricky conjunction which I'm talking about in this video. So Mars and Rahu conjunction in the fifth house. Then we have Sun Mercury in the seventh, aspecting your first house. Sun and Mercury will move to the eighth house in the second half. Venus is in its own sign in the sixth house. So what does all this show? It says that this month a lot of you will come up with more responsibilities, more ideas related to your money, related to your finances, right? So you have Mars and Rahu in the fifth house. A lot of new things will keep coming up, but you have to learn how to filter out things. What is finally working for you, what is not going to work for you. So do not be impulsive if you're dealing with the stock market, if you're dealing with speculation. So you have to be very, very careful over there. Go ahead with a lot of care, professional advice, intervention, etc. And Saturn here, Saturn moving back to the second house, is also going to make you focus a lot on the finance front. So ways on how to save money, ways on how to preserve your pocket is something which you're going to look at, definitely. So something which can be done in an economical way. Saturn, remember, is a frugal planet. So something which can be done in an economical way, Saturn will make you do that. So those kind of things, your expenditures can get curtailed, which is again good for your accumulated wealth as such. We have Jupiter in the fourth, we have Sun, Mercury in the seventh. So benefic planets in the Kendra support you, give you new ideas, make you focus on what you really want to do. Peace of mind is important. Jupiter is in the fourth house in its own sign of Pisces. So here you will focus on what gives you happiness. Fourth house is the state of mind, is our, shows our happiness quotient as well. So Jupiter here wants to feel happy, wants to recreate, wants to do something creative, and does not want any kind of a conflict, or does not want any kind of a difficult situations around it. And this is enabled by Saturn moving back into the second house as well. So Jupiter is free of that Papkatri which it was under. So focus on what you want to do, focus on what keeps you happy and healthy, practice forgiveness, practice meditation, practice things which bring you peace of mind, and you'll be able to harness the Jupiter's energy over here pretty well. So a lot of, as I mentioned, a lot of new ideas etc will come up, but you have to see, finally you have to filter out a lot of stuff. Those of you who are undergoing any kind of a hormonal problem or hormonal issues etc, diabetes or these kind of disorders, also have to be careful with the sixth lord in the sixth house, that too being Venus. Keep a check on what you eat, keep a check on your diet, that is very important, right? So then I move on to the next sign of Capricorn. So for Capricorn, you see we have the lord of Capricorn, Saturn, in the second house in the first half of the month, and then that moves back to the ascendant, moves back to the first house. We have Jupiter in the third house, we have Mars and Rahu in the fourth house, tricky conjunction. Then we have Venus in its own sign, Sun and Mercury in the sixth, and then further on they move on to the seventh house. So here, what does it suggest? Saturn being here in its own sign in the second house and then moving back to the first house. Saturn makes you focus a lot on yourself. So till now you were focusing on your family matters, on finances, etc. But Saturn makes you focus on what you want to do, what you finally, there'll be a decision point. So the buck stops at you. How do you want to finally go about things is what Saturn makes you focus on. Jupiter here in the third house also makes you travel a lot. So a lot of short journeys might occur, a lot of running around might occur, a lot of interaction with your neighborhood, with your siblings, younger siblings. All these things can happen. This is a good time, as I've been mentioning, since Venus is its own sign of Taurus, Mercury in its own sign of Gemini this month. A lot of you who have a creative field, who are connected to art, mass media, mass communication, etc., can actually give a lot of output, can be very, very productive, right? So use your time, use your energy well. And one thing which has to be really taken care about is the Mars and Rahu conjunction in the fourth house. So Mars Rahu conjunction, remember your fourth house has Aries and your Lagnesh debilitates over here. So this is a tricky house. This is a tricky house for you. Mars though in its own sign, but this is the place where the Lagnesh debilitates. Right, so I can speak more about it later in some video, but here you have to be, in a nutshell, if I speak in a nutshell, Mars and Rahu conjunction should, could make you a little disturbed in your heart. So some things of the past or whatever is happening around you can disturb you, can make you unsettled. So make sure that whatever you're dealing with, you're being upfront in dealing with whatever you want. You want to say something, speak it out. You do not like something, speak it out. Do not keep a veil of secrecy over yourself. So handle everything one-to-one, handle everything upfront and in a straightforward manner, and it should really see you through. So that is my advice to you. Apart from that, this is a good time. As I said, all conjunctions have a positive and negatives as well. So this is a good time for people in the land business, people in the property, real estate, oil, or construction kind of work. This is a very good time for you to carry out your work, expand and see new projects. Then I move on to the next sign, which is Aquarius. So if you have an Aquarius ascendant or an Aquarius rising, we have the Lagnesh Saturn retrograde in your first house in the Lagna, and then it moves back to the 12th house. And then we have Jupiter in its Swarashi in the second house of Pisces. Jupiter is also the lord of your second house, right? So here, a good indication with regard to your accumulated wealth, with your family time, with finances, etc. We have Mars and Rahu conjunction in the third house, in Upchaya Bhava. Then Venus in its own sign, Sun and Mercury in together in the fifth house. So overall, a good state to be. This month is good for family ties, for finances, so you can see a boost in terms of your accumulated wealth. Some good gain can come, help you out. Saturn is moving back to the 12th house, so expenditures can actually be curtailed, and this can automatically give a boost in terms of your accumulated wealth or your savings, etc. You can focus a lot on the domestic front. So if some of you are doing up their house, buying a new house, or renovating your house, this is a good time. A lot of you might also like to buy new things for your house, beautify it, bring in new gadgets, or bring in something new for your house. So focus a lot over here, help you socialize better. So a lot of people come. There's a good social scene at home. But one thing which you really have to guard against is any conflict with your younger siblings this month. So Mars is already a karka of your younger siblings, younger brothers, younger siblings, etc. And Mars is in the third house along with Rahu. So Mars and Rahu conjunction in the third house. Third house is the communication, is the way we communicate at a broader level. Third house is your siblings, etc., your neighbors, etc. So here you have to be a little careful as to how you communicate with them, how you're going to react to what they are saying. So take care of your relationship over there. But overall, this is a good month for taking on more responsibilities also. So you want to do something, or you are in the field of sports where a lot of physical energy is expended. This is a fantastic time. So you want to take up a good new sport, some physical routine, get into a new healthcare regime. This is an excellent time for it. So focus on your home front. That is going to be the focal point over here. Work related journeys can happen, and overall this month can be an overall good month for you as well. So then I move on to the last sign, which is Pisces. So if you have a Pisces ascendant or a Pisces rising sign, you see ascendant Lord Jupiter in its own sign in the ascendant itself. Good time. Ascendant Lord has come to recharge itself after 12 years. So this is a time where you see yourself upgrading to a better level. Whenever the ascendant Lord is coming back to its own sign, in your case Jupiter here, this is a good time to upgrade yourself, to mature up. You see, if you actually look back, if you have seen 3, 4, 5 cycles of this, you will see that you mature up. Life experiences happen in such a way that you are able to handle things better. You are able to give better reactions. You are able to handle everything more swiftly also, right? So Jupiter here enables that. We have Venus in the third house in its own sign. We have Sun and Mercury in the fourth. Good conjunction in a Kendra house. Then we have Saturn moving back from the 12th to the 11th house. And the most trickiest of all, we have Mars and Rahu together in the second house. So this gives, overall, you see, this is a good time for creativity. This is a good time for traveling. You can enjoy good travels. Luxury travel, some of you might enjoy, where time is spent well at home, so you feel productive, you feel that yes, you are enjoying your time at home with your family, etc. But the Mars and Rahu conjunction over here in the second house can make you rough of speech. Okay, so you may say something which triggers in conflict. And anyways, for the Pisces ascendant, Aries is anyways by default in the second house. So you have to be very careful about what you say, how you speak, how you put your point up, right? So something, which you just say by chance can offend others and can trigger in conflict within the family. So that is something which you really have to guard against. A lot of you can also, if you have any indulgent habits or some bad habit, make sure that you are trying to move out from that habit rather than indulging more, right? So eat well, drink well, Stay away from any addiction as such. Do not get used to some bad food or bad consumption, etc. That is something which you have to move away from. Um, Also, remain careful in terms of your health, because when Jupiter comes back over here, and especially with Venus is not a very good planet for you. It is the third lord and the eighth lord. While it is good for journeys, your creativity, etc., it is not very good for your health. So take care of any hormonal imbalance if you have any thyroid related issues, diabetes issues, autoimmune disorders. One has to be careful. If you're already undergoing a health issue, one has to be really careful over here, right? So as per Bhavat Bhavam, Venus, is already in its higher note of the third house. So health wise, this is a month to be very careful. Otherwise, take care of yourself. Take good care of your family, of your finances. Very important. And this is a good month for work wise as well. So work wise also you can see a boost. You can see more recognition coming your way, more name and fame coming your way, depending on what you have done on the past, right? So the 10th house, the 10th lord Jupiter is in the ascendant, so gives a boost to your reputation, gives a boost to your name and fame as well. So overall this is a good month, but as I said, your speech has to be seen, your health has to be seen, and overall you can enjoy this month where the ascendant lord is in its own house, in the first house. So overall things can be under your control, right? So that was all about the 12 signs, the 12 ascendants. I'll meet you very soon in a new video. Till then, take care. God bless.